Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Ann Potempa, and I help coordinate webinars for the Alaska Division of Public Health section of Chronic Disease Prevention and Health Promotion. We're going to provide these short webinars to share our section's work, and today we're going to talk about Alaska's Youth Risk Behavior Survey, how we share the findings from that survey relating to Alaska high school students, and our plans for the next 2021 Alaska Youth Risk Behavior Survey, also called the YRBS. Today's presentation will be given by Taz Mannix and Gina Agron. Taz is Alaska's YRBS Data Manager, and Gina is Alaska's YRBS Coordinator, and they will both introduce themselves when they begin speaking. A few housekeeping items. If you're listening by phone, please put it on mute. If you receive a call, please don't put this call on hold. Please hang up and call back into the webinar when you're ready. The webinar is planned for 30 minutes total, which includes a 20-minute presentation and then some time for questions and answers. A recording will be sent to all participants, and the slides will be put online, and we'll share those with everyone who is registered. Next slide, please. There are a number of options for audio, either through your computer or for the phone if you called in. Please hold all your questions until the end of the presentation, unless you have technical difficulties, in which case then please type that in the question or the chat function on your go-to webinar box. When you're ready to ask a question at the end, please raise your hand. We can either unmute you or you can type your question in the question box and we'll answer those at that time. We're going to turn off our cameras now so that you can focus on the slide presentations. And with that, I'm going to pass this over to Gina. Thank you very much, Gina.
Thanks. Next slide, please. Hello. Thank you, Ann. I'm Gina Agron, the YRBS Coordinator with the Section of Chronic Disease Prevention and Health Promotion in the Division of Public Health. Tazlina Mannix, our YRBS Data Manager, will provide an overview of the new YRBS data dashboards following my portion of the presentation. Next slide, please. Today, we're going to briefly discuss the Alaska Youth Risk Behavior Survey, or YRBS, recent news, resources available to you, preparations for the 2021 YRBS, introduce new YRBS data dashboards, then open for questions and answers. Next slide, please. The Alaska YRBS is provided through partnerships with the Department of Health and Social Services, Department of Education and Early Development, or DEED, and other state of Alaska programs, tribal health, and youth serving organizations throughout Alaska. We all share the goal of improving the health of our youth. Next slide, please. Established by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and first implemented in Alaska in 1995, the YRBS is a voluntary survey administered to students in grades 9 through 12 in public schools across Alaska. The YRBS is administered every other year in odd numbered years. Student participation is anonymous, voluntary, and requires written parental consent. Next slide, please. The YRBS provides information about the health of Alaska teens, including health risk behaviors that contribute to social problems, disabilities, chronic disease, and even death. Alaska also includes measures related to student connectedness and risk perceptions. Statewide and even local results are available if enough districts, schools, and students have participated. Next slide, please. DHSS has postponed the 2021 YRBS from spring to fall 2021. This decision was made for a number of reasons, including the uncertainty of in-classroom instruction, burden on school districts as they respond to the extraordinary circumstances of COVID-19, and because we have determined that high-quality data collection is not feasible for the current academic year. Alaska schools and our partner organizations are striving to meet the needs of youth in this socially distanced environment. We could not do this work without you, and hope that postponing the YRBS has offered some relief. We remain committed to collecting and sharing important information about the health of Alaska teens, and we'd like to ask for your help in making the fall 2021 YRBS administration successful by encouraging high participation rates. In the communities that you serve, please encourage everyone to return YRBS permission slips, since this is critical to the success of the YRBS. And for more information, please contact us at yrbs@alaska.gov. Next slide, please. We provide results of the survey. Programs throughout Alaska use and interpret the results to better understand the strengths and needs of our youth. This helps inform strategies, policies, and programs that reduce unhealthy behaviors and improve teen health. Some of the ways YRBS results have been used are listed here. If you've used YRBS results to inform your work, could you share it in the chat box today? Next slide, please. Many programs develop short and long-term strategies with measurable goals informed by YRBS results. Annual reports provide information on progress toward meeting those goals. This information is then used in grant applications to provide funding in Alaska. Next slide, please. In October's webinar, we learned how Alaska's Tobacco Prevention and Control Program, TPC, used YRBS results to develop their strategy of increasing protective factors for teens by encouraging productive and safe conversations between adults and teens. Next slide, please. In developing their focus groups, TPC used regional or local data to determine the composition of their focus groups, ensuring that regions with the highest rates of youth vaping were represented. Next slide, please. During the Data to Practice webinar series hosted by the Alaska Children's Trust, Leah Van Kirk, Alaska's Suicide Prevention Coordinator, shared how the Division of Behavioral Health synthesized Alaska Careline, mortality, and YRBS data with their knowledge of risk and protective factors to develop their strategic plan for suicide prevention in Alaska. These data also provided support for their proposal of a new YRBS question in 2021 on anxiety. Next slide, please. Community health needs assessments, also known as community health assessments, are developed by health and healthcare organizations throughout Alaska to identify key health needs and issues. Alaska's YRBS results provide these organizations an opportunity to compare Alaska and sometimes local results to national level data for benchmarking. Next slide, please. Let's now briefly cover resources which are available on our website. Organizations may link directly to these resources and view online, download and distribute locally, or may request a printed copy. Next slide, please. Our webpage may be found at yrbs.dhss.alaska.gov and is listed at the top of this slide. In the third column of our website, you'll find the 2019 Alaska YRBS Highlights publication, developed from traditional high school results. If you're following along, please click on Resources, located in the first column of our website. Next slide, please. 2019 YRBS rack cards may be placed in waiting areas to display traditional high school YRBS results and provide information about the YRBS. We can provide schools, organizations, and communities a copy of the Your Voice Matters poster to help start conversations with youth, and the student brochures will be distributed to schools with the surveys, thanks to the generosity of our partners at ANTHC. Next slide, please. Frequently asked questions, FAQs, are linked in the resources section of our website. You may click this link and scroll down. Next slide. Next slide, please. Or download, oh, sorry, back up. Here we go. Or download and print FAQs for distribution in your local areas. One down, please. There we go. FAQs for districts and schools provide information related to survey and administration, and FAQs for parents may be distributed or copied on the back of printed permission forms. Next slide, please. If these FAQs don't fully address questions that you receive, we'll be glad to help respond and capture any new questions that arise. Next slide, please. If you click back to the resources section, you'll find the link to a short video developed for teens in Alaska. This 3-minute video aims to help youth better understand why their participation is so important. Please consider playing the student video for youth in your local areas. Next slide, please. You'll also find a link to the YRBS partner video, also developed in Alaska. Next slide, please. This short video is a little less than 6 minutes long and highlights some of the reasons our partners rely on high participation rates and successful administration of Alaska's YRBS. We encourage you to play the YRBS partner video in waiting rooms, meetings, and at events to spread the word in Alaska's communities and share why we need everyone who can to participate in the 2021 YRBS. Next slide, please. We will be using social media, including tools like Facebook and Twitter, to reach parents registering their children for school and completing permission forms for YRBS participation. Next slide, please. The Alaska YRBS News Listserv is used to send only the most important updates about the YRBS. If you would like to leave your email address in the chat box, we can sign you up after this presentation. I have the honor of handing the rest of this presentation to Taslina Mannix, who will take you on an expert tour of the new YRBS data dashboards that she unveiled this past summer.
Thanks, Gina. Hello, everyone. My name is Taslina Mannix, and I'm going to switch gears now and do a brief walkthrough of our new Alaska YRBS data dashboards, which went live this past summer and fall. The purpose of these dashboards is to make Alaska YRBS results accessible to our data users. Since the YRBS is administered at the state level, which allows us to get representative statewide results, and some school districts choose to collect district level data, there are 2 types of data dashboards: statewide dashboards and school district level dashboards. I'm going to walk through a statewide dashboard today, but the district dashboards have a similar layout, so this demonstration should be useful if you plan on using either type of dashboard. You can access all of the Alaska YRBS data dashboards from the homepage of the Alaska YRBS website. On the left side of the screen, you'll see a link to results and publications by year. If you click on that link, it will take you to our main results and data page. Once you're on the results and data page, you'll want to click on the 2019 survey results link at the top of the page. At the top of the 2019 results page, you'll see a link to the statewide traditional high school data dashboard. Directly below that, you'll see a link to the statewide alternative high school data dashboard. We have 2 dashboards that contain statewide results because YRBS data are collected separately by school type. Displaying the results in 2 different dashboards also allows data users to see the similarities and differences in the health and social behaviors of these 2 student populations. Below the links to the statewide dashboards, there are links to 17 different school district dashboards. Again, these dashboards are broken out by school type. The first section includes district-specific traditional high school dashboards. The second section includes district-specific alternative high school dashboards. And the last section includes a dashboard for Mount Edgecombe, which is a boarding school. Since I'm going to walk through the statewide traditional high school data dashboards, I will click on the link at the top of the page. This is what you will see when you enter the data dashboard. You'll start here on the About the YRBS page, which contains information on the background of the YRBS, as well as things like how schools and classes were selected for the survey. If you scroll down, you'll see information on how the data are processed and analyzed. To navigate to other pages in the dashboard, click on the blue tabs at the top of the screen. So the next page in this dashboard is another informational page that includes examples of frequently asked questions and answers on how to use YRBS data. For example, you'll see a question on how to interpret the results, and below that we explain what the percentages and lower and upper confidence limits mean and how to interpret them. Moving on to the third page, you'll find instructions on how to use the dashboard to get YRBS results. So up to this point, we've been looking at informational pages that provide details on YRBS methodology and answers to frequently asked questions. But the next page in this dashboard includes YRBS results. So this page provides step-by-step instructions on how to navigate the upcoming data dashboard page. So now that you know where to go for information, we're going to dive into the results. All of the statewide traditional high school results are accessed through this fourth blue tab, which is the data dashboard page. And for the purposes of this presentation, we're going to focus on the health topic of student connectedness and resilience. And the specific indicator or health measure in that health topic we're going to look at is students feeling like they matter in their community. So as I alluded to, YRBS results are organized by health topic. So first you will want to click on the drop-down list under Select Health Topic and select a health topic of interest. The Student Connectedness and Resilience health topic is currently selected, but other health topics include things like alcohol, violence and bullying, and nutrition and body weight. Next, you'll want to select a specific indicator of interest from the drop-down list under Select Indicator. When you click on the indicator drop-down list, all of the indicators appear for the health topic that you previously selected. Once you select a specific indicator, in the case shown on the screen, we have an indicator for feel like they matter in their community. The full text for the indicator will be displayed on the screen. Finally, the last step is to select a year from the Select Year drop-down menu. The statewide traditional high school data dashboards contain YRBS results for all odd-numbered years from 2007 to 2019. 2019 is selected here and is displayed by default, but you can choose other years from the drop-down list if you are interested in previous year's results. Just keep in mind that questions are added and removed from the Alaska YRBS, so results for some indicators are not available for all years in the drop-down list. Now that you've selected a health topic, indicator, and year of interest, if you scroll down the page, you'll see a large table of results. In the upper left-hand corner of the table, you'll see overall, or total, percentage of traditional high school students with a specific behavior. This is also called the prevalence estimate. Just to the right, you'll see the lower and upper confidence limit for the prevalence estimate. The confidence limits, also called confidence intervals, show the margin of error around the prevalence estimate. So this dashboard shows that 47.8% of all Alaska traditional high school students feel like they matter in their community, and the corresponding confidence interval is 43.7% to 52.0%. Below the total result in the first column, you'll see results for subgroups of students, so by age, grade level, and race ethnicity. Just like the total result, we provide both the percentage or prevalence estimate and the upper and lower confidence limit. In the middle column, you'll see the same results, overall and by subgroup, but just for female students. And finally, in the far right column, you'll see overall and subgroup results just for male students. You may also be wondering why there is a dash displayed in some of the cells in the table. The dash is displayed when the result is suppressed. This could be because the numerator or the number of students who report a specific behavior is too small, or because the denominator or the number of students who respond to the question about the behavior is too small. We suppress YRBS results in order to protect student anonymity and to ensure that the results we release are high quality. If you hover over a cell with a dash, you'll see a pop-up box with additional information. The pop-up box displayed on this slide says suppressed small denominator, which means too few students in this particular subgroup, Black or African American female students, responded to the question for us to report the result. For other indicators in this dashboard, some results will be displayed in red text. And if you hover over the cell, you'll notice that the flag field in the pop-up box says that the result is unstable or very unstable. If that has piqued your interest and you'd like to learn more about data suppression and statistical stability, you can find additional information in the first 2 informational pages of this dashboard. Now let's scroll down the page to see more results for this indicator. Below the table are 2 line graphs. The first line graph, which is shown on this slide, displays trend for this indicator over time for all students and by sex. You can change which groups are displayed in the graph by using the drop-down list under Select Sex. Right now, all is selected, so 3 lines appear in the graph. A blue line showing the results for all students, and orange and gray lines showing separate results for male and female students. If you just wanted to see trend results for female students, for example, you could select female from the drop-down list under Select Sex. There are 2 types of trend displayed in the table below the graph. The long-term trend column shows the trend from the earliest available data point to the most recent. So in this case, that's trend from 2007 to 2019. The second kind of trend is short-term trend. So that's just change over the past 2 survey cycles. So for all data displayed in this dashboard, that's from 2017 to 2019. Finally, let's scroll down a little further to see the last graph on this page. Now we're at the last visualization on this page. Like the earlier graph, this is displaying trends over time, but for all students and for American Indian or Alaska Native and white students. Again, you can choose which group you would like to display using the drop-down list under Select Race. And there are both short and long-term trend results displayed in the table below the graph. So that was a brief walkthrough of some of the main components of our statewide traditional high school data dashboard. I encourage you to explore it further and to check out statewide alternative high school and district level dashboards. Thank you so much for attending our presentation today. We have some time for questions, and you can also contact us individually or send us an email at yrbs@alaska.gov.
Thank you, Taz and Gina. If you can come back on camera for a second, we can go over any questions that have come in. In addition to some questions, we have some folks who have entered comments in the chat field to talk about how they have used data before. So thank you for that. We have a comment here that says the YRBS data is so important to provide a picture of the risk behaviors youth are engaging in. I've used the data to help inform grant applications and provide background information and benchmarking for prevention efforts. So thank you for that comment. We also have another comment from Dr. Rich, who says that they've used YRBS for the Division of Behavioral Health SAMHSA block grant for several indicators. So thank you again for that comment. We also have a comment from someone who is interested in the Listserv. Gina or Taz, do you want to remind people how they can get entered into that Listserv and receive our messages?
Yes, I can go back to that slide actually. Sorry for it's not probably the best way to do it, but we'll get there. Oh, right here. So on the YRBS main page, on the left-hand navigation side, there's a subscribe box. You can see that in gray on your screen, and you can click on that link, and that will take you to the subscribe option for the Listserv.
Great, thank you, Taz. There's another question that came in. How is information from gender expansive and trans students collected if the survey only allows for female and male?
I can take that. Yeah, certainly that's, we really appreciate that comment. We've been exploring adding some additional questions. Certainly those can be sensitive topics in some communities. So it's something the YRBS team is definitely looking into. And we encourage you to participate in the YRBS questionnaire development process. If you aren't involved and haven't been involved in the past, it happens the summer before survey administration. So we just went through that process in August, and we really rely a lot on input from the community. So if you're interested in participating in that process, please reach out to us. Gina, do you want to add anything?
Thank you to everybody who did participate in the process, and I wouldn't say anything more than I would just mirror what Tazlina said. We really appreciate everybody who is involved and providing input, because we do take your input into consideration when we're recommending questions for the YRBS.
Can you talk about the timeline for finalizing surveys given the change to fall 2021?
Sure, we're actually working on the survey right now. I sent a draft to Tazlina, who provided some input, and then that I have not been involved before, but that will go to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention once it's approved. Tazlina, I think that we have to give them about 3 weeks. Is that correct, to review?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and they kind of make the final, they do the final review and approval process before it. But that means we'll have the survey a lot sooner than we would normally, because we postponed survey administration.
Great. We have a couple more people talking about how they use the survey. I'm not seeing additional questions, but I have one of my own. Sometimes the questions aren't the same year to year and they need to change. How do you find what the current list of questions will be, or what the planned list of questions will be for 2021?
Sure, so thank you for that, Anne. The questionnaires are posted once they're finalized on our website.
Great, thank you. Another question just came in. What software is used for what you showed, Taz?
Oh yeah, great question. This is something we've been thinking a lot more about in the section, how to visualize data. And so we use Tableau for the dashboards that you saw, and actually for all of the dashboards available for YRBS. And I know that a lot of surveillance systems, data collection systems are going with Tableau. So.
Great, I'm just looking down through, making sure we've addressed all the questions that came in. Are you taking any more input from parents for the 2021 survey?
So that's a really good question. And I guess I'm not entirely sure what types of input the person is asking about, but we always welcome input from parents. If they have, thoughts on how to promote the survey or how to encourage other parents to complete the parental permission form, those kinds of things. But if they have specific questions, they can always reach out to Gina or myself, or send an email to the YRBS email address as well.
Great, and if you can advance to that final slide again so that people can be left with your contact information, that would be great. We are hitting the end of our 1:30 time, and I want to make sure everybody can get to their next meetings and appointments. So we're going to wrap this up. I will remind you that we will be putting this PowerPoint and webinar on our webinars website, and we will continue in the 2021 calendar year with additional webinars to share, and you will be receiving emails to register for those as well. Again, here is Taz Mannix's phone number and email address, as well as Gina Agron's email and telephone. And thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate you supporting YRBS and other programs and working with us on those projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do I save?